Hello students, hope you all are doing good. Today we are going to continue with our chapter number 14 of history, that is India after independence. Here we will be getting to know more about that, yes, what were the conditions that India faced after independence, what new rules, regulations were implemented after India got independence, and what were the new setups and qualifications that got enrolled into the constitution after India got independence. Let's continue. In this chapter, we will find answers to the above questions, learn about the challenges faced by newly independent India, and also know about the steps it took to overcome them that we already discussed. Then the introduction I already gave you that what are the things that India has faced like after the independence. So first of the topic is partition of India, means segregation and division of India. In 1947, India became an independent nation. Independence came with many challenges. The two immediate challenges were the rehabilitation of the huge refugee population which came from Pakistan and the integration of the princely states with the Indian mainland. Means while India got became that independent country, two main problems that India faced was to set up and to provide proper spacious areas to the ones and to the refugees who came from Pakistan, and also to take care of the ones and to take care of the countries and the states which were there in already existing in India at the time. The partition of India led to the creation of two independent nations, India and Pakistan. Because of the segregation of India into two particular parts, India gave birth to another country also, which was known as Pakistan. So, Pakistan had a predominant Muslim population. Post partition, a large scale migration of people took place between the two countries. Means a lot many people moved from India to Pakistan and from Pakistan to India. Many Hindus and Sikhs living in a different part of the Pakistan migrated to India. Simultaneously, millions of Muslims migrated from India to Pakistan. So many things took place over that time. The migration was accompanied by unprecedented communal violence, bloodshed, immense hardships for the common people. There was so much of battle that took place between the two communities and so many communities. The violence was eventually stopped by the cooperative efforts of both the Indian and Pakistan leaders. Means like leaders were there, like Pakistani leader was there and the Indian leader were there. So basically they also had some sort of conflicts. Mahatma Gandhi undertook a fast unto death in Calcutta and later the in Delhi to calm people and spell out the message of peace and harmony. Means at the time in Calcutta, he was just planning to shed out his life just because of the people, as he wanted no violence in people. And he also said that yes, if we will be fighting like this, then no one will stay alive and no one will be able to make it to the last time. So he just told that we must live with peace and harmony, and also we must listen to the people that what they really want. And huge relief camps for refugees were set up by the government, some of which were later converted into permanent residential colonies. Means some areas were given to the refugees who came from and traveled and migrated from Pakistan to India, and government told that yes, you can stay here after a particular period of time, like those particular area which were given to and which were allocated to the refugees were converted into permanent colonies. The refugees put immense pressure on the already weak Indian economy, and they were already a very hardship burden on the Indian economy because India was rarely able to manage a meal of two times for their own particular people, whereas the movements and migrants of some other country, when they moved into India, it was a very big challenge for the government to take care of them as well, because government just can't delook that particular segment of the society. Integration of princely states. During independence, many princely states existed that were ruled by Maharajas or Nawabs, that we have been studying since the very first day and the very first lecture. That before independence, the states were ruled by Maharaja and kings. It was a huge task for the government to convince the rulers of these states to join the newly independent country. The government was there, and it was very hard for government to convince these kings and maharajas to continue and to accept the policy which were given by Indian government. And Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel played a key role in persuading most of the states to join India. He was the main lead role and who actually motivated all the kings and nawabs and maharajas to assist and help government in shaping India to be a dominant country. So he is often called the Iron Man of India. Underline this line. Accession to India was slightly complicated for the princely states of Junagadh, Hyderabad, and Kashmir. Like these Nawabs and these kings and Maharajas of these three states were not really ready to, or these three cities were not very ready to be a part of it, as they thought that yes, it would be a loss of their power and only government will be able to rule, and they never wanted to do so. The people of the princely state of Junagadh in Gujarat wanted to join India while its Nawab wanted to join Pakistan. It was very clear that yes, the Nawab wanted to go to Pakistan, whereas people wanted to stay in India only. After the Nawab fled to the Pakistan, a plebiscite was held where majority of the population voted in favor of joining India. A council and a kind of poll took place over there while the Nawab of Junagadh moved and fled to Pakistan. That the majority of the people, the followers of that particular Nawab, they wanted to stay over in India. So it was a decision of his followers, and mostly people voted in favor of joining in India and staying in India. The ruler of Hyderabad, called Nizam, means it was a name given to him by the Britishers, wanted to remain independent, but the people revolted against him. Means he wanted to stay independent. He didn't want to be a part of government, and he wanted to rule all it over again on his own. But people were not in favor. They said that yes, you must join your hands with the government. The Indian troops entered Hyderabad and it joined India in 1948. And in 1948, he also had to join the Indian army, means the hand of the government. Maharaja Hari Singh of Kashmir was unsure about joining India or Pakistan. When tribesmen from Pakistan crossed the border and defeated his troops, Hari Singh appealed to India for help and agreed to join India. Means he was also not sure about whether he should move to Pakistan or he should stay in India. But while he was thinking about the decision, actually a major troop, a major commander force of Pakistan entered and killed his force, lot many people. So he decided to take help from government of India, and that's how he decided that yes, he will be giving and he will be joining hands with India and will be staying in India only. Integration of the French and Portuguese territories. Even while the rest of India was under the British, Pondicherry, Karaikal, Mahayanam, and Chandernagore Nagor were under French occupation. By 1954, these areas were handed over to India. Though even after independence, like India was still under the control of these areas were especially under the control of Britishers. But by 1954, all these areas were already and also handed over to the government of India. Similarly, Portugal continued to rule over Goa, Daman and Diu, and Dadra and Nagar Haveli. The people of Goa fought for their freedom under the leadership of Tristão Cunha. Ultimately, the Portuguese territories were also integrated with Indian in 1961. Means also like similarly, these French people were already also having the rule of some sort of areas which came under the Indian subcontinent. Same way, Goa was also ruled by Portugals and Portuguese at the time. So in Goa, the people of Goa actually fought and they took help of that Tessau Chuna, and also came and fought with their full rivalries and also got that particular annexation and received and again won back their territories. Framing of the Constitution. A significant development after independence was the framing and the adapting of the Constitution of India. Means like Constitution, how it became the Constitution, what were the rules and sets of rules implemented on it. The Constitution was drafted in a process where people from various backgrounds participated. Means while it was being prepared, so many people participated into it. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee. Underline this line. He was the main head of the drafting committee. With the adoption of the constitution in 1950, India became a sovereign democratic republic. And finally, in the year 1950, India became a sovereign democratic republic country. The constitution was a very progressive document of its times. Means it was very important at the time and still it is. It clearly mentioned the structure of the government and the rights and duties of the citizens, means what rights and duties we will be giving to the citizens and what are the things that we will be providing them. It granted universal adult franchise. Earlier at the time, people were not allowed to vote because and only those who have that land or who are rich were allowed to. But under this universal adult franchise, anybody who is just above the age of 18 years can easily vote for their candidates. And it was also shown that yes, that it shows that equality before the law and everything. And the untouchability law was passed where nobody will be discriminated on the base of their caste, gender, religion, background, or color, or anything with which people used to judge people. 3 lists of subjects were informed and mentioned: a union list with subjects such as taxes, defense, and foreign affairs, for the which the central government was responsible. Like we have already discussed it about, like union list, state list, and one more list was passed. A concurrent list was passed at the time. A state list used to look after the state affairs. Union list used to look after the kind of things which we used to focus on whole country. And concurrent list contains both of them. Like they used to negotiate with both the lists, so that's to keep into consideration that what will work well and what will not. Next comes formation of states. As India was a vast country, it was necessary to divide the country into smaller political units called states and union territories. Means like you cannot work in India. Like India was not able to, and people were in India, like main head priorities were not able to work, keeping India as a whole. So they just divided in India into further segments like Indian union territories and also into states. The government set up a state reorganization commission which submitted its report in 1956 and recommended that the boundaries need to be redrawn to organize states on the linguistic basics basis. Means like they just told that yes, that organizational structure which was there, and state reorganization commission just submitted its final report in 1956 stating that yes, India needs to be adhered with different perspectives and also needs to be changed with different boundaries and lifelines now. And all the division of these states was to be done on the basis of their language and the language spoken and the culture inhabited. And also, like Assamese, Odia, Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada, and Bengali, these were the languages. The Hindi speaking area of North India was divided into many states. In 1960, Mumbai province was divided into two states for Marathi and Gujarati speaking people. Means in 1960, even Mumbai got divided into two other parts, like one for Marathi and one for other parts of Gujarat. In 1966, Punjab was also divided into parts, Punjab and Haryana. At present, there are 20 states and 9 union territories in India, including the National Capital Territory of Delhi. Next comes our planning and development. A major task for the newly independent country was to develop its economy. Economy means financially it has to develop. And that was devastated by many years of colonial rule. Means earlier it was very flourished, but after the Britishers came, it just got demolished. And it was important to develop the infrastructure and take necessary steps to eradicate poverty. Eradicate means to remove poverty. The Planning Commission was set up in 1950. Its role was to help design and execute policies for economic development. There was a commission which was set up in 1950. Its name was Planning Commission, and the main purpose of Planning Commission was to set up the designs and new policies so that people can get affected in a positive manner. A model of mixed economy placed based on Jawaharlal Nehru's perception of the development was adopted. Means Jawaharlal Nehru had one kind of adaptations of a particular model. According to him, that if people will follow the model which is set up by him, which was set up by him, then they will definitely be able to cope up with the poverty. And this model would rather be known as a Nehruvian model. This was the name of the model of development, and it started that both the state and the private sector would play an important role in increasing the production and opportunities for the job. According to him, like both government and private companies, that is the industries which were set up by the common people, will play an important role in increasing the GDP and economy of the country, and will also help people get their job opportunities. Thus, in India, we have both the public and private enterprises, that is, public and private sector. The Planning Commission was to allocate specific industries to each. Means the work of the Planning Commission was to make some certain people who will be looking after their particular departments, like we have now. The Planning Commission developed the 5-year plans whose implementation were monitored by the Commission. In 2015, the Planning Commission was replaced by another body called the Niti Aayog. Means there was a term which was known as 5-year plans. They used to see that yes, in 5-year plans, what development a country can make. Means they used to make certain plans that in this much of time we will be looking after dams, we will be looking after bridges, we will be looking after after the countries and their particular good terms that we will be making. But in 2015, the term Niti 5-year plan was replaced by a new strategic planning called Niti Aayog. Let's see foreign policy. India's foreign policy is guided by the principles of beautiful, peaceful and harmonious relationship with neighbors. It's very important to set up their relationships with the neighboring countries so as to keep a healthy environment aside, and international conflicts through peaceful means and opposing all kinds of oppressions and discriminations is a very important part while setting up some sort of conversations. After independence, the Panchsheel or the 5 principles became the basis of India's foreign policy. India set up 5 principles which were also known as Panchsheel. Let's discuss them out. These principles were discussed at the Bandung Conference held in 1955, where leaders of newly independent countries of Asia and Africa met. Means there was a Bandung Conference where the leaders, means the head particles of newly independent countries like Asia and Africa met, and they discussed about the issues. India has also played an important and influential role in many international organizations. After independence, India refused to align with either of the two power blocs, the USA and the erstwhile USSR. As India said that they will not be joining hands with both of the republics. Both the countries, along with their supporters, were engaged in a Cold War. Cold War was a term which was used where people are not in favor and still they go for conflicts and all. The Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, floated the India idea of non-aligned movement, that is NAM, along with other newly independent countries such as Egypt and Yugoslavia. NAM countries decided not to align with any of the power blocs and work to promote world peace. Means Jawaharlal Nehru gave an idea of non-aligned movement, and that movement he just told that yes, these countries which are signing it will not be getting any kind of harm, and in case if one gets hurt, other countries will come to support the countries which is in harm or which is in problem. India is a key member of the other international organizations such as East Asia Summit, World Trade Organization, that is WTO, which is used for trading, and International Monetary Fund, IMF. In 1985, the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, that is SAARC, was formed to promote peace and cooperation among India and the countries of these subcontinents. Means India and the countries touching the subcontinent and touching the boundaries of India was signed a petition of SAARC where, like, if again the same issue of NAM got aligned, that if any other country will be submitting or it will be disturbing the boundary lines of any other country, then these country will come to help them. India and the United States, that is UN. India has been an active member of the United States, that is UN. Vijay Lakshmi Pandit was the president of the General Assembly in 1953. He was the main head. He was the president of that General Assembly in 1953. India forces have regularly joined the UN peacekeeping forces in their various missions around the world. India aspires to be a permanent member of the Security Council. Means Security Council के term में India has always held the first position because it was always an active participant. India and its neighbors. Let's see. India always tries to maintain a harmonious relationship with her neighboring countries, as we all know. Let's see about China. Even though India's relationship with China began on a positive note with Panchsheel, relations between the two countries have been strained due to border issues. Means it all started with a good sign, but due to some border issues, means the area-wise issue, like they started to have some conflicts. India also disapproves China's occupation of Tibet and granted asylum to the Tibetan leader Dalai Lama. The Sino-Indian War was fought in 1962. However, recently both the countries are trying to improve their relationship by promoting economic cooperation and trade. As like we know that yes, India and China play a very vital role in trading and like exporting and importing their materials. So they are still planning to set up some new and positive relationship again. Next comes Pakistan. The relationship between India and Pakistan has been better since the two countries became independent. Means things were not clear as and were not very well as the two countries got divided. The occupation of Kashmir has been the main source of conflict, and India alleges that Pakistan aids terrorist activities in Kashmir. Means India has to state that yes, Pakistan always keeps sending their terrorists so as to capture Kashmir. Three major wars have been fought in 1965, 1971 and 1999 Kargil War between the two countries, which was the Kargil War was the most famous one. India has always tried to maintain peaceful relationships and has been keeping on solving the conflicting issues through peaceful talks, but Pakistan always keeps provoking India. India and Pakistan share a common heritage, and it is for the benefit of both the countries that they look beyond their differences and create an environment of peace and cooperation. Means like it's very important for Indian people to see that yes, whether things are working well or not, but Pakistan keeps provoking, so sometimes they have to take some actions so as to give them a quick response. Next comes Bangladesh. India played an important role in the Indo-Pak War of 1971, which resulted in the birth of independent of Bangladesh. Under the leadership of Sheikh Mujib ur Rahman, India has also provided financial and other help of Bangladesh. It was known as Pakistan. I guess Old Pakistan was the name of it, or East Pakistan was the name of that Bangladesh earlier. But after the Indo-Pak War, India also helped Bangladesh to set it free from some sort of rules of Pakistan, and like it also held them financially so as to cope up with the problems and crises. However, there have been issues of conflict such as sharing of river water and illegal immigration of people, but both the countries try to largely maintain a friendly relationship. Means ऐसा नहीं है कि that they don't have any issues with Bangladesh. They have been like there were always and there had been many issues, but they allegedly report it and then they easily maintain it, and they're still trying to maintain a healthy relationship. Next comes Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka also gained independence from the British in 1948. The tension between ethnic Tamil and Sinhalese citizens led to the tensions between India and Sri Lanka. Means a group of people of Tamil Nadu went back to Sri Lanka and just killed some people and started, capturing the areas. Because of which Sri Lankan government has to take and had to take some sort of actions against them, and which led to the problems. But still, people over there just got some that power into their hands, and then they India, as a kind of that regret and as a kind of condolence, they just provided free trade and taxless trade to the Sri Lankan government, that they can port anything without any money. India maintains a cordial relationship with her own other neighbors such as Bhutan, Nepal, and Myanmar as well. Challenges ahead. What are the challenges that India has been facing and India will face? India is one of the largest democracies in the world, we know. Since independence, the country has progressed in many fields. The infrastructure has developed, level of literacy has removed, and the three-tier system of government is functioning smoothly. Means these three changes have been observed, and like India is still prevailing and it's working on its community, economy, and on basically on people. However, the country still faces many challenges related to communal violence, poverty, a huge gap between the rich and the poor, casteism, and religionism as well. Means there are still so many things that are to be changed because of mindset of the people. Too many elements were vested interest are trying to break the unity of the country, and by instigating people with narrow-minded viewpoints. Means people are still there who believe that yes, India should not be considered as a country, and people are still divided. And the country can only progress if all educated Indians rise, and only we can come together if all of us rise together. Above these factionless settlements and working towards making India united and stronger socially, economically, and politically. And yes, they have been trying to make India very strong economic, socially, and politically. Thank you for being additional students. Hope you all understood the concept and the plot. For more information, access internet, watch videos, and read books. Thank you, take care, and stay safe.